Oh yeah. I don't know if I like that green hat, Todd. I know you're wearing
Peter Pipe. This is my tribute to the A's and what's going on in Sacramento, and you're going to love it.
Sacramento. Are they changing their colors to purple?
I wouldn't.
They should just choose our logo for the Sacramento A's.
They should absolutely change. And if they're going to change their colors, they should change the color to like dust brown.
I was thinking purple.
They should never put this team in the standings with the name of a city. It just should say A's.
Right. The A's?
It says Oakland now, and next year it'll say Sacramento, then it's going to say Los. Just say A's, and they can go anywhere.
They should just name them the Batter A's. Come find Oakland A's colors for the BadderSports at BadderSports.com. Hey everybody, welcome to another episode of Swing Batter. I am your host, Brendan. That is Todd. That is my father. Dad, we're jumping right into this. Who suggested, or what name did you pick? And why'd you pick it?
Well, we got a suggestion from Vincent753, who said we should talk about Mo Vaughn.
Ooh.
And it, very timely, because we've been thinking about Mo Vaughn for quite a while, and I'm glad, Vincent, that you brought that up to the top of the measure here, so we can talk about one of our favorite people to talk about, Mr. Mo Vaughn.
When I think of Mo Vaughn, I'm usually thinking about him when I'm working out on a treadmill, doing my, marathon running, because nothing makes me feel better than going, man, I want to look like Mo Vaughn. He was a big, big man. Dad, tell us about the history. How did Mo Vaughn come to be in the game of baseball? He was beloved by many, hated by few, and my goodness, did he get a contract?
Yeah, Mo Vaughn did well financially. Actually, Mo Vaughn, it's kind of like a guy who weighed 160 in high school, and he weighs 250 now. And he said, you should have seen me then. Mo Vaughn was really a terrific baseball player. Let's put this in perspective. He came up with the Red Sox as a 24-year-old. And the first 2 years, he was kind of a part-time player. Second year, he did get in 113 games. He was just cutting his teeth. You know, his batting average in the mid-250 range. Hit 13 home runs in the second year. But in year 3, when Mo Vaughn was 26 years old, he launched into a session with the Red Sox, which it was actually 8 years, but these last 6 years were Hall of Fame numbers. There's just no doubt about it. As a 26-year-old, getting the starting position and moving ahead, he batted .297. I'm going to add something. .297 was Mo's lowest average from that point on with the Red Sox, lowest. And he's known as a power hitter. That year, he had 29 home runs and brought in 101 RBIs. So he had launched the ship. What followed was year after year where he batted over 300, one year as high as 326. And his home runs went 26, 39, 44. His RBIs, 82, 126. Listen to this one. In 1996, Mo Vaughn drove in 143 runs, batted .326 with 44 homers. Next year, he came back, drove in 96, then he drove in 115. In his 8 years with the Red Sox, this guy was it. Man, the last 6 years, he was just nothing short of phenomenal. Now, I don't have a vivid memory for 30 years ago. I should, but I don't. But Mo Vaughn must have owned Boston during those 8 years. His numbers were just, I say, all-star. They had to be talking Hall of Fame for this young man. And that's the memory people forget, because Mo Vaughn did not end well. But let's not forget what an amazing player he was. Mo Vaughn completed his 8 years with the Red Sox with a 1998 season. At the end of the 1998 season, he opted to become a free agent. He found a new home in California. Todd, do you want to tell us about that?
Yeah, so he wanted the money. to be honest, he deserved the money. The numbers he was putting up, and you got to keep in mind, this was the season when we had the Sosa McGuire home runs that were going on. And this guy was mashing. He was David Ortiz before David Ortiz was David Ortiz. He was fun. He was great to watch. He crowded the plate. If he got hit by a pitch, he didn't even flinch. I remember watching this guy, and this guy would get hit by a pitch because he's crowding the plate. It just didn't even react. So the Angels ponied up, as the Angels are wont to do. I think the Angels are like our all-star franchise at this point, as the Angels are wont to do. And what they gave him a signing bonus of $13 million. And for an average salary of $13.33 million for 6 years, $80 million, the Angels signed him. In the year 1999, he was going to turn 31 years old. They signed him for 6 years because you got to keep in mind what was going on in baseball at the time. Old guys got better. Barry Bonds was getting better. Mark McGwire was getting better. 35 was no longer the end of your career. 35 was when your career got resurrected. Yeah, maybe you had to use a little andro to get it. But hey, guess what? You could mash and you could hit home runs. And this guy proved that he could hit for average. So the Angels structured the deal in a way that was, well, for the Angels, is pretty genius. It back-ended the money so that he was getting paid the majority of the salary in the last 3 years of the contract. So he can go into Anaheim, he could perform, and in the back of their minds, they're thinking to themselves, you know what, if things get hairy, we'll just see if we can offload this guy. So how did he do after he signed that contract?
That's a pretty interesting story. In his very first game playing with the Angels, chasing a ball, he's in the field, second batter, I think, he fell. He tripped into the dugout, got hurt, and went on a 14-day disabled list. Right off the bat, the $80 million guy missed a couple of weeks in April. However, that did not thwart his offense. He actually had a terrific year with the Angels in 99, 33 homers, 108 runs batted in. His average took a little dip. It was his lowest average since he was a part-timer in his young age. He only batted .281, but that's still a very respectable average. And I would have to say the Angels would consider him a success after that year. Year two, he was healthy. Played the whole year. He played in 161 games. And he did hit 36 home runs, drove in 117 runs. But once again, we saw a slight dip in the batting average. For a guy who was always batting .300, his average with the Angel was .281, and this year .272. By no means a disaster, but a little slippage in the average. But the other numbers were all right there for Mo.
One of the things you want to note about Mo Vaughn, like all bigger guys that are up there swinging the bat, and this guy was a power hitter. The lower body injury on a player of his age to start that entire career with the Angels, that not only impacts you, but it impacts him on his swing and impacts him all the way around. Now, the Angels have the luxury. They're an American League team, and for those that don't recall, they had the DH, where National League teams did not. So that was a big benefit for the Angels. You didn't have to have him in the field. One could argue, why was Mo in the field to begin with in the first day? Because he's younger, he was feeling good, and then him getting injured kind of hurt things. But people don't kind of remember, as you get into your 30s and all of that torque on your knees, all that torque on your legs, it pays a toll. And he is not a light swinger. He literally was ripping the house off when he was swinging.
So he missed all of 2001 though with a torn bicep. So he had a torn bicep, traumatic surgery, and so what do the Angels decide to do? They decide to unload him. To who? Well, another American League team probably needs a DH, right? Wait, hold on. In the 2001 season, did he lose a lot of weight? No.
Did he work out all the time?
No.
Was he like, man, my arms hurt, but I bet you I can walk and run a lot and lose some pounds?
No.
Therefore,
Sometimes when you're built like a house, Brendan, you got to live being built by like a house.
I mean, you get what God gave you.
That's right.
He put extensions on the house.
He did. So along come the New York Mets, who have Kevin Appier, who they owe $33 million to for the next 3 years. And they're looking at the $46 million that's owed to Mo Vaughn, and they're thinking to themselves, this seems like a good deal. Mets don't have a DH. Kids, keep this in mind. In the olden times in the National League, pitchers had to hit. Just like Brendan said, no DH. So let's bring in Mo Vaughn for $46 million for the last 3 years of the contract.
I know how this deal happened. I have great resources now that go to the great interior of baseball. So the baseball owners and GMs all have their meeting in Arizona, and they all sit down together, and they all go over the trash heap that is contracts of guaranteed players that they no longer want on their teams. And as they were in the buffet line, of all places, in Scottsdale, in a nice resort, Mets guy said, hey, I don't want this guy on my team anymore. I'm paying him all this money. And they go, hey, we have Mo Vaughn. We don't want to pay him any money. They go, your trash is my treasure. And the Angels were like, so is yours. Because if we swap them, the fans won't know and they'll get really excited about a new thing. We'll just shine it up. Kind of like a storage locker. So that's how those trades happen, folks. And so the Mets end up with Mo Vaughn because they got in line with the Angels. Because you know who wouldn't talk to the Mets and the Angels in this? Teams that really had playoff aspirations, which were not the Mets.
Yes, well, it's not like Robert Kevin Appier did horribly for the Anaheim Angels. I mean, he had a 3.92 ERA, pitched 188 innings the year after they traded him. I mean, that's so horrible.
What was Mo Vaughn's first year when he got traded? He did good. I remember him hitting bombs for the Mets. The Mets were pretty excited about their new toy.
Yeah, speaking of bombs, this guy hit probably the longest home run ever, 505 feet at Shea, that hit the right center scoreboard. I've been to games at Shea. Nobody was hitting that scoreboard except for Mark McGwire in batting practice and Mo Vaughn in a game. It was a monster home run. It was an absolute monster. So
I'm looking,
Dad, what did he do that first year with the Mets?
Well,
It wasn't horrid.
No, but you have to remember, he didn't even play the year before. And he got in 139 games, 26 home runs, a little down, 72 RBIs. But again, the batting average is slipping. Now it's 259. So you can see some slipping. He certainly was a contributor, but he was also 35 years old and now required to play in the field when he had to play the game.
Got paid $15 million that year. But the real pièce de résistance, the cherry on the top of the whipped cream on this crap Sunday is age 36, 2004 with the New York Mets. Dad,
Well,
what are the stats for which he got paid $23 million, which in 2024 dollars is like $90 million?
okay, so women and children should be excused while I read these statistics.
This is offensive.
He got in 27 games. He hit, are we all sitting down for this?
Mm-hmm.
3 home runs. He drove in 15 people, and his average went to 190. Tragic. Absolutely tragic.
Even today, the LA Dodgers would not pay over $1 million per RBI. Just putting that out there.
And the end of the tale of Mo Vaughn is not really like, there's no one that really ends these stories that we're giving you on a happy note, because the majority of them are in the tail end of their careers. We need to go back and remember the good times that Boston had. And then you have to ask yourself, why did Boston not run to sign him? It's not like the Angels paid him the top dollar. He was the 28th highest paid player when he signed the contract. So the contract was not obscene. His numbers were great. the Angels made a very good idea of a addition to their team who immediately hurt himself that he believes cost him his Hall of Fame career numbers. Now, the Mets made no sense. There's no DH. There's no capability of him even playing unless he's in the field. And he became a complete defense liability as the first and second year shown. So these contracts have an end. They have a wonderful start and they have a wonderful end. And we have lots of these contracts to go through. This was Mo Vaughn and the Angels. What's very comical to me is, as Dad, you continue to pick these players and their deals, how often certain teams continuously show up. So for those...
Almost like Bernie Madoff was financing them.
So the Angels show up here and the Mets come in to save the day as... And the thing is, the Mets they weren't even competitive with this team. When they added Mo Vaughn, they sold everyone on what they were going to be and they weren't competitive. So
Mo had to end his career at age 36. He said he was disabled, but he never played again. And how much money did the Mets have to pay?
They ended up paying, I think it was $46 million.
Once again, we sign a guy who's at his prime, but starting to age, and the Angels gave him, how many years did we say? Six?
At 31.
At 31 years old, somebody had to know the last few years were not going to be pleasant. They were just so fortunate that there was a team out there willing to get this severely used car at a high price.
Now, it was a severely used truck.
Yeah. So,
and he ends up...
Mo Vaughn, hats off to you, bro.
Yeah, Mo was a great player. It just was tragic. We look at the money here, and the person who we really make fun of here is not Mo Vaughn. It's the Mets and maybe the Angels, but I don't know. The Angels might have done okay with their money.
The Mets.
Yeah.
There's always someone of the 30 teams that are baseball organizations. There's always someone who's willing to take on those terrible contracts. But there is one team that does not. That is your Oakland/Sacramento A's.
That's right.
They will not take on a bad contract to save their lives. They will not go fishing in those watering holes. Everybody knows not to give them a call. They don't have...
They won't take on a contract.
That's true.
So I want a big thank you to Vincent for bringing up Mo Vaughn. We do have some wonderful tales of Mo Vaughn. And again, largest home run and probably ever for the Mets. Unbelievable. Wonderful memories of Mo Vaughn. And here, cheers to you for a wonderful career in baseball and a great ending contract. I'm your host, Brendan. That is Todd. That is my father. Thanks so much.